For this movement practice, I have a chair and a block on the chair to grab easily if you need it. And then I have a ball. So if you have any kind of ball that you use for rolling out the body, you can grab that. This is one of Jill Miller's yoga tune-up balls. These balls are very popular now. I've personally been using them for over 5 years now, and many teachers I know use them. So if you're taking classes online right now with people that use them, it could be a good investment for your home practice and home studio during this time. Car alarm. I've tried recording this already a few times and it keeps going off, so there's nothing I can do. We're in the city. Okay, so I'm starting holding onto the chair and putting some of my body's load into the ball. And so I'm just taking that initial observation of how this foot feels. So once I've done that, then I'm going to take time to just feel my skin rolling on the ball. And that sensation can feel really good. Thank you. So that sensation, rolling back and forth in circles. Then start to come back into the load aspect. So I'm now on the heel and the ball of my foot is down. My opposite heel is up, so I can put more tension in. Then coming to the middle of the foot, same thing. The middle of the sole of the foot is the most intense part for me, personally. So see which area you feel it the most as well. And then coming into more of the ball of the foot and my toes wrapped around the ball. No. And then just take your foot off the ball and step and feel what that's like. And then we'll do the other side. So the initial pressing in. This is a good metaphor for life right now, I think, right? The car horn and the ball and the intensity. All right, so then take the ball and just feel your skin on the bottom of your foot rolling the ball around. Go back and forth. I'll speak more to that later at the end, but right now let's focus on your movements and your body and how you're breathing and what's happening for you physically. Perhaps how that's connected emotionally and mentally as well. So you feel the different areas of the foot putting more load and energy in. And I definitely feel a difference in my pelvis from side to side. So maybe you do too. And then step and feel that side. Little bouncing. Move your arms. And then with that little shaking out, do some swings. Let your arms get really loose so that your wrists and your hands can tap your body wherever they swing to. hips and then arms coming up. Grab one arm around the middle of the arm, close to the elbow, and your other elbow is pointing out. So it's like you're framing your head. And then use just isolation there for a few deep breaths. And then release. We'll do the other side. Swing your arms, take your other arm up, grab near the elbow on the forearm, and then some action there in the arms, in the structure, feeling a stretch, and then release. All right, now I'm just gonna move right into a standing figure 4 pose. So holding the edge of the chair, I'm gonna take one foot up, cross it over the opposite thigh, and start to sit down into that position. Sometimes this is called standing pigeon as well. So if you feel like you can go further than the chair, you could take the block off the chair and continue to come down. You could take one hand to the foot that's crossed over and give the foot a little bit of attention as well, while you explore here some bending of the knee, dropping deeper into the squat, and then straightening. And similar to the rolling out the foot with the ball, this position is one that I could do every day, and I need it every day. And so now I'm just kind of moving off to the side and exploring that way. Coming back to center, going to the other side. You could also do this sitting in the chair if standing, doing it is too much. Okay. And I'm holding it for a while because it does take a bit of time to really get in there to your backside and your outer hips. And also to just assess what's happening from the back of your pelvis to your feet. And then when you're ready to let go, slowly shift, transition. Okay. Now we'll do the other side. So just start with bending and straightening and just checking out this side. And again, if you want to sit in a chair, if you want to move the block down, just try different things. And then explore moving a little bit within it too. And then come up. Just take a moment to stand, maybe reposition your stance. Close your eyes. Notice where your hands want to go, where you need to feel and connect. And then perhaps you clasp the arms behind your back, lace the fingers, start to bend your knees, and come forward, hinging forward. You might pause here. Notice how you're putting your weight into your feet, and you might need to shift a little bit. And so some of you might pause here and just shake your head out, and that's as far as you're going to go down. And some of you might keep bending your knees and continuing to come forward. Eventually let your hands slide down the back of the legs to the floor, to the block, to the chair, wherever you need. Shake your head out, let out a few sighs. And then find your squat. So I'm letting my feet come out as wide as the mat. You could immediately move the chair behind you, the block underneath you. So if you're moving the chair, this is a kid-sized chair, by the way, super handy. You just sit into it here and work from here, moving in different ways. You could have blocks underneath you, or you could have nothing. Just take a wide squat and just start to feel into both feet again. So I'm transitioning to one side, my heel is coming up, and then going to the other side, other heel comes up. So even if you're sitting in the chair or using a block, you can still shift your weight side to side just enough. And lift your heels. And maybe add some arm movement. And then we're going to crawl onto our hands and knees. So you can come off the chair, off the blocks, make your way to the floor, to your hands and knees. Just pause there. Just notice from the tips of your fingers to your wrist. Notice from your wrist to your shoulder. From shoulder to shoulder across your chest. From your head and cervical spine down your back to your pelvis. Whole length of the spine. Not moving it, not flexing or extending, but just watching. Just holding yourself here. How much energy does it take to not even move? And to maybe have little subtle shifts that help ease the hold. Help you question what stability means to you. Notice from your pelvis to your knees. From your knees to your ankles. From your ankles to the tips of your toes. Okay, now curl your toes under. If you can, setting up for toe squat, you could bring a block with you to sit on, You're gonna walk your fingertips towards your knees and sit. This is intense on the feet again. If that's not possible, you can stand up on your knees. Make sure you have padding under your knees if you need extra support. We'll stay for a moment. Float the arms up and down. In different ways. You can try taking the arms diagonal. Head, side to side. And then coming back to table. Tap your feet out. And then let yourself move. So after that longer hold and the toe squat, then just let yourself move intuitively, however you want to explore and open from your table position. Cat-cows, some of this. And then eventually a child's pose of choice. You could again put a block underneath your seat in between your heels. You could have a block or bolster or something in front of you or for under your forehead. I love using these foam blocks, finding the very edge and letting the brow point at the forehead come into that soft pressure of the block. For me personally, and I know for many people, that spot has been shown to help just give you a big sense of release. After taking some time there, you can crawl back to table and try to find some down dog moment. And exploring maybe wider stances in both ends of the body. Just kind of seeing what's gonna work in your body. And then taking some time to rock back and forth from plank to down dog. You can drop a knee and take a side plank, or you could stay with the legs stacked. Go to each side. And that's basically it. That's what I have for today. 20 minutes. It is not that many shapes to try, but it's enough that you can hopefully find some time for reflection and feel a little more open in your body. Now I'm going to end by suggesting legs up the wall or legs on a chair. So you can move your chair to a comfortable spot, put bolsters or pillows underneath you, and put your feet up. Wanted to just end this practice by sharing that I'm recording this as it's the full moon in Pisces tonight and into tomorrow. And it's now been 6 months of COVID-19. And so these have been a lot, these 6 months. And I only started sharing these videos, during this time, maybe 2 months in or something. I'm not super consistent with them, I know. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to share and how to continue this practice during this time. But I'm happy to show up in this way at least, and I just hope you're all doing well, and I'm just grateful to those of you that continue to stay in touch with me on Instagram or here or emailing, however we can. And I hope that some of these things I share can be helpful or an inspiring template for you to work off of for your own movement. And now there are so many options for you because there's so many online offerings now, and you can choose from tons of different movement modalities and spiritual offerings and all of those things. But I continue to be immersed in how I can be a part of shaping change, how we can all be a part of that, how we can continue to grow and wake up about the state of our country and the state of ourselves and how we're living our lives and what's most important. So yeah, this moment feels very reflective because we started this isolation time and the quarantining and the pandemic 6 months ago when it was around the Pisces full moon in Virgo. And now we're in the Virgo full moon in Pisces. And this is why I love working with the moon and nature's cycles, because it offers us these reminders that we are part of nature, we're always changing, but we always have these moments in nature, these cycles, to be a grounding point for us as we continue to change. And each cycle offers different themes and lessons for us to work from. Even though those themes and lessons might, they continue to be the same each year, each season, we're not the same. And so when we hear them and we work with them and we work with different parts of the body throughout these changes, it teaches us about ourselves. At least for me, it helps me explore how to be a better person, what patterns I've fallen back into, what I'm aware of now that I wasn't aware of 6 months ago, that I wasn't aware of last lunar cycle. Those things, and yeah, to me that's what yoga is, and being grateful of the practice and honoring the practice and appreciating it instead of appropriating it. All these things that we're continuing to grapple with right now. So throw your feet up, let yourself soak into this full moon time. If you're watching this, it might not be still around the full moon, but maybe this practice gives you something to think about and something to work with from your feet. And the themes of Virgo is harvesting and digesting, and Pisces is compassion and feeling and loving and dreaming. So to me, that feels like this perfect combo of compassionately digesting everything we've been through now and just how we can continue. Okay. See you next time on here.